But yeah, that was something a work stream kind of came to us to kind of see some use cases to what could be solved for kind of combining scaffold ETH with some other things in the ecosystem. So there wasn't necessarily a presentation, but really just a kind of an open session to talk about it, to see like, you know, as we're moving into Web3, we're being pulled back into kind of this Web2 space and permission credentials and things. So like, what kind of things could Moonshot dream up that really solve this issue?
So what? Okay, so what? So it's a so it's a Notion doc that a scout like so a Notion competitor basically. Is it more like signature based document editing? What are we talking about? What are the MVPs?
Yeah, so that's what, like, really just to drum it up, like what could an MVP look like of, you know, basically using sign in with Ethereum to manage permissions on something like Notion, instead of guiding us all back into Notion and dealing with the headaches of credentials and permissions and having two people monitor it. Like, what else could exist out there?
I know for sure that Build Guild Builder has built a token gated Notion document. I know I have that much. I'll send you that link, but I'm all about this open discussion.
So is it, do we want it to kind of be like a layer on top of Notion, or just do away with Notion, or kind of a layer on top of an existing tool? Then the signing feature becomes like a plugin, or using scaffold ETH to rebuild Notion in a sense.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I derailed it. You're basically talking about a Notion competitor, and I was talking about sign in with Ethereum to a Notion, kind of two different things. But I could totally see just a simple file document editor where you do have to like sign a message to prove who you are, and then you make some changes and you hit save and you sign that information, and then some backend server can verify all those edits and all those signatures. And basically, like, a document is just a history of signed messages where you can kind of present the final information to someone, but that document can be a living document of like Web3 edits. Sounds neat. Someone should build it. IDK if it has like product market fit yet, though. Like, why not just use a Notion?
Alrighty, seems like this is a very in-short idea. Where, if people are interested in working on this, where can they go, emu/Austin? I know it's not in our like OKRs for 2022, but just if people are interested in helping define it, where would that go?
Yeah, I would say anywhere within Moonshot through any Telegram channels, just hit us up. Like, especially if that's the kind of stuff that you're trying to build and want to kind of push out into the world, just interesting ideas and building, just hit us up anytime.
I put a signature recover branch in too. This would basically be the bare minimum that you would need to do is collect signatures in the front end and verify them on a back end. And this is a very forkable example of how to do that. So file editing could be built on top of that pretty quickly. Maybe use ceramic. We're trying to get into that.
I'd say also here a little pro tip: if you want to tease like the product managers and start getting their heads wrapped around it, scope in what you mean by competition. Like when you say Notion, it's just like, right? Like we're talking really far away. But there are much simpler shared note taking products out there that you could compare it to. So I would definitely tweak that, whoever it is that wants to push this.
I mean, zooming in on a DAO toolkit. Oh, whoops. Go ahead, Shravan.
I was just going to say HackMD and something open source like that could be used to, and in conjunction with whatever Austin suggested.
I'm thinking product market fit. Let's say you're working on something with a few anons or something like that. Like you need 4 or 5 different anonymous identities to get in and edit through a doc and sign off on it. If they have to dox themselves by putting in their Notion, then that's not going to work. But if there was this way of doing this with just your ECDSA Ethereum signature, then maybe there are these like small channels of anons. Like, it's hard to say that's product market fit, but I could see some use case of this. I was the one that said, why not just use Notion? But now I'm thinking of we have a lot of Web3 primitives like ENS and our signatures, our signed messages that like we could play in that arena and we could get it to all work there without a lot of external stuff. So maybe that's, like when a DAO goes to use a tool and they all have to put in their email and a new password, that's like very anti Web3. So maybe just like a sign in with Ethereum document editor could be very valuable. But yeah, we need to find folks that are actually using that and have that need.
I think there's something that already exists that does this. I want to say it starts with a C. I can't remember what the name of it is.
That's Clarity, I think.
Yeah, Clarity.
We use that at Diamond DAO. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like a reinventing the wheel moment. Looking at Clarity, people.
Link it.
Anyone have a link to it? We are also out of time on this, so I will give snaps to Emu for talking about this, but curious to see if there's any heat there.